Warning, this video contains strong language and offensive content. If you like those things, cool. But if you're a bitch ass nigga and you don't like those things, you might not like this video. But for the ones that do, enjoy this video.
You're this perp back with another video, and I just got done watching episode 4 of American Horror Story 1984, and man, this was a dope ass episode, coming off of a strong episode last week. But before I get into this review, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you're new, and follow me on Twitter, my new Twitter at perpminded420. And with all that being said, let's get right into this review. So they have a little flashback, and we see that Montana is a whole freak, cokehead, and just was obsessed with getting revenge on Brooke for her brother getting killed during her wedding. And I find that really fascinating because I see a lot of people call that and predict that, so that was really cool. But it just shows you how twisted Montana is. She's a little bit more crazier than the Night Stalker. And I liked how they showed how they met and how the Night Stalker was able to kill for her, and how that plays into just, you know, the whole Brooke situation. So then we jump forward, and, you know, Montana's kind of pissed at the Night Stalker that she's still alive, but he's able to manipulate him, I should say, while Chet, Xavier, and Trevor are making sure Chet is okay. They try to go for what's his face's car because it still has the keys in it. I think his name was Donovan or something like that. But then we see Margaret, you know, go to one of the cabins where the masked Mr. Jingle dudes got killed at, and you just really see how warped her mind is. And even Trevor catches up to her and says, yo, we gotta go, there's a killer out here. And she's just like, I have a gun. And Xavier pretty much goes to find Birdie, and you think Birdie's kind of suspect and stuff, but then, you know, Xavier hides underneath the table while Mr. Jingles comes in, and they have this really interesting conversation. It seemed like, you know, Birdie and Mr. Jingles were pretty close back in the day. So he hears Xavier make a weird noise, catches them both lacking, knocks Xavier out, and puts him in the oven, which was pretty crazy. And I'll get back to that very shortly. Meanwhile, catching up with Brooke, she wakes up in this like little shed or whatnot, and she's trying to get out. She breaks out, but falls for one of Donna's traps. And Donna you just see how whacked out Donna is, and just how whacked out a lot of these people that are at this camp are. And it's just, I find it so fascinating. So then going back to Xavier, you know, he's in the oven. You think he's getting baked alive. Birdie's able to save him. In return, Birdie tells him, just put me out of my misery. And Xavier's kind of freaking out because he's looking at his face, and it's all burnt. It looks really weird. His face is all fucked up. Then we get a scene of Montana catching up to Brooke, and she tells her, like, I'll be right back. Little does Brooke know she's working with the Night Stalker, so she leaves. We get a scene with Margaret. You know, she's got this carved bear, and then it jumps to a a flashback, and we see that, you know, Margaret and Mr. Jingles had a thing, and he was really falling for her, not knowing that she was pretty much just using her. And people at the camp made fun of her and him for that, and she wasn't really fucking with that. And at the time, you know, she wanted Mr. Jingles to protect her. I'll get back to that very shortly, but we get this epic Mortal Kombat showdown between Mr. Jingles and the Night Stalker, and I love this. I wish they would have showed more of this, but pretty much Mr. Jingles bodies the Night Stalker and puts his face through like this branch or whatever the hell, while Brooke's sitting there trying to escape. Montana's thrown down with Donna, which was epic. That was just epic. Then we get the reveal that the whole time Margaret was behind the killings in 1970s and just framed Mr. Jingles for all of it. And you really just feel bad for Mr. Jingles because he had to go under like electroshock therapy and take all these drugs, and he goes to try to kill Margaret, and Margaret pulls out the toolie and just lets off and kills Mr. Jingles. As far as we know right now, he's pretty much dead, but Montana's able to catch up with Trevor and Chet, and Trevor tells Montana, take Chet to the car and whatnot, I'll be right back. Runs into Margaret because Trevor heard the gunshots, so he wants to make sure Margaret's okay, but Margaret ends up killing Trevor. Damn, R.I.P. And I was thinking that Trevor's a really cool dude, and it sucks that he's gone now. Technically, not really, but he's gonna be a ghost. So then Xavier runs into Mr. Jingles and begs him to kill him, and Mr. Jingles says, this is not my doing. Meanwhile, the car that they were supposed to escape in is up in flames, and Margaret did it. Nobody knows this yet, and she's just cleaning up her tracks. Donna's able to wake up, but who also wakes up is the Night Stalker. His eyes go black, so there's definitely something more sinister attached to him now. And it's going to be really interesting to see going forward how much more they could tell with this story, because this is only episode 4 now, and we still got like 6 more episodes left. So there's a lot of story to be told and a lot of twists to come. And I'm really loving this season. What do you guys think about this episode so far? I thought it was action-packed, really interesting reveals. I guess you could say some of it was expected, but I thought it was cool for what it was. The whole Jingles versus the Night Stalker was dope. But until next week, I'll check y'all out later. Peace.